temperature within that column of air, especially if you have cold air near the surface and warm air above it. If you have a deep layer of cold air with a narrow layer of warm air above it, you get sleet. The precipitation falls as rain through the narrow warm layer and then refreezes into sleet while it falls through the cold layer. But if the layer of warm air is thick and the cold layer is narrow, that rain won't have time to freeze before it hits the ground. So it hits and instantly freezes to anything it touches. We call that freezing rain. And now you know what it takes to predict the type of precipitation we'll get.
L is for La Nina. It's the pattern we've been in with mild temperatures in the northeast, colder and wetter conditions in the northwest leading to more snow. O is for onshore breeze or sea breeze. Cooler ocean temperatures are responsible for moving that cold air over warmer land and cooling it down. V is for Virga, the product of rain as it evaporates before hitting the ground. And E is for eddies, randomly circulating air that goes against the current, also responsible for turbulence.
That was fun, and it was a wild week of weather for much of the country. This was the scene in Bristol, Virginia, Monday after mountain snow turned into heavy rain. But yesterday, things were very different when spring returned to the region and some flowers started to bloom due to a record high of 72 degrees. These two pictures tell the story quite well. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, it's almost maple syrup season. We'll show you how folks in Maine are getting ready. Plus, a look at how kids are helping to protect against beach erosion along the Gulf Coast. But before we go to break, let's test your weather wit. When is the hottest time of the day? Is it from 6 until 10 a.m., 10 a.m. until noon, or between 1 and 5 in the afternoon? The answer when we return.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. We have a wide-ranging conditions in the Northeast today. Look at this. Temps are in the teens and 20s through parts of northern New England. Parts of southern New England will be in the 50s. And look at this. New Jersey, New York, some areas could be pushing 60 degrees here. Now, we have some snow, wintry mix, and primarily rain over southern parts of the area. That's going to be moving out late in the day. Skies clear out tonight. That wind picks up a little bit. And Saturday is going to be a bright, sunny day, but cooler with highs in the 30s.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. A mess of an end of a morning commute here as we head through about 9 a.m. Friday morning. Pretty much everybody getting some rain, maybe even some heavy downpours. And then by lunchtime, that does begin to move east as our latest weather maker hauls off the coast. And that means sunshine, but blustery and turning colder with temperatures perhaps falling for many as we head into the afternoon hours as a cold front moves east. That's seen here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. Looks like cooler temperatures moving in behind a front that we have that's firing off some strong weather over parts of the southeast. Temperatures for a high today, 41 in Nashville, 44 in Birmingham, compared to 71 in Charleston, 83 in Jacksonville, Tampa, 82 degrees, West Palm, 87. The cold front will move through the area, firing off some severe weather through parts of Georgia, parts of the Carolinas, but looks like some rain showers will move through North Florida, then clearing behind it.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Here's a view of central Pennsylvania from earlier this week. What you can't feel is the temperature. Meteorologist Steve Knight says things peaked at 70 degrees Wednesday, which is about 30 degrees above average for the middle of February. Meanwhile, April showers bring May flowers, or so the saying goes. But these flowers in Tennessee and Virginia sprang forth in February, thanks to the winter warmth.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Well, before the break, I asked, when is the hottest time of the day? Here's Baltimore meteorologist Amy Aronson with the answer.
Yes, the sun reaches its highest point in the sky right around noon or midday, but the highest temperatures actually happen a little after that. Take a look at this temperature trend beside me. You'll notice the coolest temperatures occur in the morning and then they rise from there, but they don't actually peak until later in the afternoon, sometime between 1 and 5 p.m., depending on the time of the year. And this has to do with how the sun heats the atmosphere. The rays of the sun shine down and heat the ground or the surface first, and then that heat is actually emitted back up into the air, and that's what causes the temperature to climb. There's a little bit of a delay there. It's actually much like preheating your oven to bake cookies, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. I need my oven temperature to reach 350 degrees. I'm gonna set it to that, but it's actually gonna take some time to preheat. So much like the atmosphere, the heat is taking its time to actually build up within the oven so that it can reach that temperature point so it's hot enough to pop these cookies in the oven. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Amy Aronson.
June Bacon-Bursey was a trailblazer, America's first female broadcast meteorologist, making her debut on air in 1971. She was also an African-American woman pursuing a degree in meteorology in the 1950s. Her road was a long and difficult one. Emily Gracie recently spoke to June's daughter, Dale, about her mother's life and career.
She became a meteorologist when she saw the mushroom cloud on the cover of Time magazine as a young student, and was truly concerned about what the particles from the mushroom cloud was going to do to the atmosphere. I mean, she pursued meteorology, quite frankly, with a vengeance, because at that time there were so many objections about why she shouldn't. And when she arrived at New UCLA as an honors math student, and she declared meteorology as her major, her appointed counselor tried to dissuade her by saying that wasn't a good path. She should pursue home economics. And my mom obviously didn't agree, but she took thermodynamics that next semester along with home economics, and got a C+ in home ec and an A+ in thermodynamics. And she was very disappointed about the C+, and that was probably the only one she received in her entire academic career. So I grew up knowing very clearly about mission and resistance and resilience.
She was the first degreed female meteorologist to give an on-air weather report, correct?
Yes, she was. And that was another pursuit of hers. And she was very clear early on that she wanted to be a broadcast meteorologist. So the years as a radar meteorologist in the Atomic Energy Commission and the National Weather Service was training for her, as she knew her next step was broadcast journalism. It fueled her to be a speaker and a supporter for other women and diverse meteorologists from all walks of life. And she really wanted to share the joy of communicating weather and meteorology with everyone.
Is there any advice or quick words of wisdom you think that your mom would want to offer to current female broadcast meteorologists or all broadcast meteorologists?
Reach for the stars. She always said that. Everyone knows what those stars are, but that is the mission of delivering the weather. And being in a position of broadcast journalism in the world today is tremendous opportunity to reach for the stars, and the rest will come.
To hear more from Dale, including her candid discussion about how her mother's life and drive impacted her own choices, just head over to YouTube for a longer version of this interview. Just search the National Weather Desk. In Maine, it's almost time for maple tree farmers to tap the sap that will turn into that sweet stuff that you pour over your pancakes. Some folks are getting a jump start on the annual Maine Maple Sunday by getting their equipment ready. Meteorologist Ryan Munn spent time at a farm outside of Portland to learn more about the collection process.
A roaring fire can keep you warm throughout the winter. It's also an important part in producing maple syrup. One of the first steps in the process is making sure there's no leftover dust or debris.
Everything was pretty well flushed and clean before we even started boiling, but this just makes sure that we're just as pure and clean as we can be when we start.
Lyle Merrifield of Merrifield Farms in Gorham also has his own shop and museum on the farm.
We're going to head around the front of the building. We'll step into the Maple Sugaring Museum.
Inside, he has numerous maple sugaring antiques, including sap buckets, axes, taps, and much more. A few miles down the road is where the drop lines are located.
Now we're going to head up just over onto the knoll here, and we're going to set in a few drop lines and tap a couple trees. You're going to take this tool like this.
Yep.
Now go ahead and compress the tool, and that's going to keep going, keep going. Perfect. Now you're going to release the tool.
The next step is to drill the hole in the tree.
In and out. Hole's drilled. I'm going to take my tap out of the...
The final step is to hammer the tap into the tree.
That's good. You can hear the noise difference in the hammer. It's starting down the lateral line now.
Lyle said within the next week he should start the collection process.
Well, people often have questions for us about weather, especially kids. So we wanted to answer one of those questions from a future meteorologist at home. To do this, we head to Kirksville meteorologist Matt Gunn.
How deep can snow be?
There is a difference between snow totals and snow depth. In mountainous areas, snow can be in hundreds of inches deep.
And kids are helping with coastal erosion that has been called a silent killer that is ebbing away at life along Gulf Coast beaches. The Gulf Shore students are not going to let this happen. Kim Anderson reports.
It was class on the beach, 38 Gulf Shore's middle and high school students putting what they've been learning in the traditional classroom setting to the test.
Where the students have been learning about the dune ecosystem and the ecology of Alabama's coastline.
They've been learning what causes our beaches to erode and what needs to be done to protect them.
Took some donated Christmas trees to build this structure, and we're planting for protection.
This native dune building vegetation will be the first line of protection from natural disasters like hurricanes. Along with planting, the student ambassadors are teaching some elementary school students what they've learned to get them excited about protecting their community beaches as well.
To raise the next generation of coastal stewards, kids who are excited and passionate about our native dune ecosystem, and I hope to pass that message along.
And what better way to learn than hands-on?
Get out of the classroom, learn a little bit, get to know a lot of cool, fun people, and I think all around this was just an amazing and very wholesome experience.
As we head to break, we take to the skies over the Stony Creek River in Pennsylvania.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Phil Kelly. That cold front that brought us a lot of rain into the middle and end of the work week continues to push off to the east. Temperatures with some sunshine still on the chilly side, low 30s in Des Moines and South Bend, mid 30s in Columbus. We get into Saturday, we start to warm right back up. Mid 50s in St. Louis, will be up to 41 in Milwaukee, 39 in Grand Rapids. So looking like a pretty nice start to the weekend.
Well, a good Friday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan. Look at our forecast today across the region, starting off with a definite chill in the air behind that front. And through the afternoon, it's refreshingly cool, 40s and 50s for high temperatures, good amount of sunshine, and really not much of a rain chance. Now, Saturday morning, we'll see a few showers, maybe a little bit of a wintry mix in higher elevations of West Texas. Otherwise, through the day on Saturday, stays cool, highs in the 50s and 60s with patchy clouds moving across the region.
Well, hi there, and a very good Friday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, it's fairly quiet. We have a little bit of wet weather here and there, including back in the seasonably damp Pacific Northwest this time of year, but starting to brighten back up around Jackson Hole at 29 there near Yellowstone, 44 in the Treasure Valley near Boise, and 57 if you're trying your luck in Vegas these days. High pressure over the Intermountain West, and this weak disturbance dropping down into the panhandle of Idaho tonight. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
The weather has been pretty good so far for the Daytona race week, and that's not going to change heading into the weekend. Meteorologist Dave Dirks has the forecast.
Busy week of racing continues at Daytona International Speedway. I'm meteorologist Dave Dirks. A warm one in Daytona on Friday with partly cloudy skies, mid to upper 80s. So for the truck race during the evening, clouds will be increasing. It looks like it will stay dry. Temperatures, though, cooling off for the Xfinity race on Saturday. Temperatures in the upper 60s. And for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, right now we got partly sunny skies in the forecast, looking nice with highs around 75 to 80.
Now let's check to see the weather in cities across the country today. We'll start with a look at Syracuse, New York. They'll have a mix of wintry precipitation in the morning with clouds in the afternoon and a high of 26 degrees. And heading over to Flint, Michigan, where they will have snow showers this morning with a high of only 24. Moving to Dubuque, Iowa, where skies are sunny and the high is 24 degrees. And we'll end here in our nation's capital, where there was some rain this morning with some heavy winds expected this afternoon and a high of 60 degrees. We will be right back. And we'd love to connect with you on social media. You can find us on all of your favorite platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown once again. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you right back here on Monday.